And welcome to LFC Transfer Room. Liverpool are now 5 times in a row victories since the 2-2 match with Arsenal. So it's great news. It's also disappointing news that we're putting it together when we're at this point in the season. But Anthony, what did you make of today's game?
Thought it was a good match, although we only just about won 1-0. We did concede some silly chances, but 3 points is all that matters. Hopefully we can get top 4, but it's looking a bit unlikely at the moment.
And Ben, Fulham really did a number on us, didn't they? In the prior match earlier in the season, they attacked us. It kind of was the start of our downfall season. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit of revenge, isn't it? It's kind of nice to get a one-up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's nice to beat a lower tier side because it seems like we smash some of the good teams and then we play like crap against the bad teams. So it was nice to get a scrappy 1-0 win. It was nice to see that from the boys, and thank God for Alisson. So
definitely, and I mean the reliance on Alisson this season's it's not been great, has it, for us? But once again, he's come in clutch at a key moment.
Exactly, and he to be fair, like 90% of our players have been rubbish this season. And I'd say arguably Salah and like Luis Diaz as well, and Brian Canate have been sort of standouts for us. And Alisson, I just can't fault him. Like, I genuinely love the guy. He's so good for us. Like, every single match he plays, I think there was a bit of a blip in that 2021 season where he had some poor form. But after that, last season, he was incredible. And even to this day, I still think he's underrated. I can't believe people still compare him to David De Gea. He is 10 levels above, 100 levels above. Like, the amount of saves he does, the amount of one-on-ones he manages to save as well, on another planet compared to all the other keepers. So, yeah, number one. He could have got man of the match today. That's how good he is. And, yeah, throughout our season, he definitely has to win our player of the season.
Oh, without a doubt. I think he probably, if we make top 4, it'll be because of Alisson. Because he's made game-saving moments so often and made so many massive contributions. But just having a bit of a focus on the Fulham game, Ben, who stood out to you? Who was good? Who was what you'd expect? You know, who surprised you, and who do you think needs to improve?
I know Darwin won us the PK, but I hope he's better next season. I like him a lot. He's like very fiery and aggressive, and that's awesome. Like, he's so passionate. But sometimes he just dribbles too much, man. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, obviously pass the ball right there. But he did win the PK, and part of the reason he won the PK is because of his like aggressiveness. Like, he managed to get his toe in and get the ball away. I think Simikos always impresses me when he plays. So that's kind of what stood out to me. And I think Curtis Jones has been really good the past few games. So
he was a lot more comfortable today, wasn't he, Ben? He seemed like he was more prepared to stamp his authority on the game as opposed to just be a conduit, so to speak.
Who are you talking about?
You, Curtis Jones.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he's impressed me. I mean, I think I prefer him over Harvey Elliott, even though I do like Harvey Elliott a lot. For some reason, with Harvey Elliott, he seems a little uncertain at times, where with Curtis, he might make the wrong decision sometimes, but he still seems like certain on the ball, if that makes sense.
And Anthony, Ben makes a really good and interesting point, because for me, Harvey Elliott's prepared to take a risk and do something that may result in quite a negative play for us, whereas Curtis is a little bit safe at the moment. But today he really did step forward in terms of, one, more aggressive in his pressing, two, he was taking people on and trying to run past people. For me, this last run of games has really sort of shown that he could actually have a future in this squad.
Definitely, I think I didn't necessarily write him off this season, but obviously just because of how poor everyone was performing, you just kind of feel negatively towards a lot of the players. But I think I said at the beginning of the season maybe a loan would have been good for Jones to like maybe a mid-table side just to get him more minutes and matches. But he's impressed the past few matches, especially against Tottenham. He was incredible. And today, the only thing I think you can fault him on was just his like output, his attacking output. There were a couple of times where he could have passed it better to Diaz, I think, or Gakpo, and with his shooting as well. But aside from that, like you're saying, his pressing, he knows how to press. I don't want to keep banging on Henderson, James, because I do it every stream, but he knows how to press. Henderson just runs around like an idiot. Jones, he's actually winning the ball back from his presses as well. I'm not a fan of Elliott. He looks so out of place whenever he's in the starting 11. Jones, though, like Ben touched on as well, he looks more comfortable in the starting 11, but I don't think we can regularly start him. He's just a bit too inconsistent, like in general. Obviously, he's played well past few matches, but over a 38 match season, and the cup competitions, etc., he's just not consistent enough to start for us.
I'll stick with you just because I'm going to talk about Jordan Henderson for a second, and we may as well. He ran a lot tonight. For a guy that seemed to have completely lost it in his legs, why was he able to run tonight? Not all the runs were close, but he put some miles in tonight. What the hell is going on with him? Because he goes through stages of not being able to run at all, being able to run, running the wrong places, which is a completely different conversation entirely. But it just seems like his body is either broken or fine, and there's nothing in between.
He's such a random player. Like you've run out of words to describe him. I genuinely have. I've called him all sorts this season, but he's just so confusing. I thought he didn't play too badly today, but there's moments where, like the last minute, where he's trying to lob it over Leno. What are you doing? He's so clueless at times, and you just got to laugh. And he reminds. No, that's another topic. But I don't know, James. Honestly. He like you're saying, he just runs around, but he just doesn't know what he's doing when he's running around half the time. And we just need some actual quality on the ball, and he doesn't possess that. Time to move on for Henderson. And thank goodness the news came out about James Milner. I think it is 1 or 2 seasons more than he stayed. He stayed longer than I wanted him to, essentially. Should have been gone 2 seasons ago, Milner. But yeah, thank goodness he's going. I can't believe some people are still a bit, maybe we could keep him for leadership. Those aspects are good. But then you look at the last match against Tottenham, we're 3-1 up. Henderson comes on and it's 3-3 all of a sudden. You need leadership. And just because he's Jordan Henderson, it doesn't mean he still got it and can keep up to this level that we need him to be playing at. And same with Milner. Tottenham got the free kick, the one that scored from him giving a silly free kick away. So hopefully we can see the backing of Henderson as well at the end of this season.
Don't you wish, Ben, that you could get paid about £5.2 million a year just to be a good guy with a bit of leadership? Because that's, 100 grand a week. That's what we're talking about for James Milner for a contract extension, to just be around the place, be a positive vibes. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's really good at helping the young players get accustomed to the team. I mean, that can be really important, having that guy with experience who can kind of like pump people up. But yeah, I get like I feel like physically angry when I see James Milner in the starting lineup sometimes. I'm like, what is he doing there? Like, he does not need to be there. So maybe he could come on as like a coach or something in the future. He could be like an assistant guy just there. Like, I think that'd be cool.
I mean, that's fine if he wants to be a coach. But you don't get paid $5.2 million to be a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, head coach at the top level, maybe, but it seems quite an expensive investment. One of the things that I did like today, Anthony, was I thought Virgil had a lot better game in terms of reading the game and getting himself in strong positions, because it wasn't really his side that they were playing through. It was trying to break down on the right. but he covered the right as well quite well today, didn't he, Verge?
Exactly. And to be fair, yeah, even against Tottenham a few days ago, I don't think it was as bad as what what everyone was making out. It's just that slip against Perisic. So obviously that's going to be highlighted all around the world. But yeah, today was incredible. I've got to do player ratings on the TikTok after. I reckon I could give him a 8.5 or 9. You know, it was so good. Vinicius, we finally pocketed Vinicius. He was in his back pocket though. And same with like Willian, Harry Wilson. Who was he playing right wing? There were obviously a couple of chances, but then that's where Alisson came into play as well. So I thought defensively, this is the first time in maybe like 5 or 6 matches where I thought, you know, we could actually get a clean sheet from this, and we look so solid defensively. Him and Konate. Once we got a proper midfield who can defend, yeah. Next season, I genuinely believe, you know, I predict us to win the league every year, but genuinely, there's just a bit of a feeling. I reckon we could actually win the league if we sign midfielders who are like competent enough to defend. And we're already close to signing McAllister, so hopefully a couple more additions, and yeah, we'll be back up there competing for the Premier League again.
Completely agree. And there was a couple of highlights for me. One was Fabinho. His counter pressing when they lost control of the ball was brilliant. He won it back so many times today. But my main takeaway from the game was Luis Diaz cutting in from the left, and running at people and fighting with them and coming away with the ball and them having no idea what's happened. Seeing Luis Diaz run at defences is everything that we've been missing for most of the season, because as much as I'm a fan of Salah, he doesn't run at the heart of a defence. Nunez just sprints at a defence and jumps in the air and tries to smash the ball in. That guile, that's what we've been missing. That's what we don't have in midfield. And just seeing Luis Diaz do it, for me, was easily one of the highlights of the game for me. So you better score well, Anthony, when you do your ratings. And just to wrap us up, because it's just a quick post-match thoughts on the game. One of the other news coming out today was Jude Bellingham is supposedly very close to signing with Real Madrid. We waited 2 years for Messi, Ben. We waited 2 years for Bellingham. And guess what? We're going to get neither. But we're getting a new stand. What are your thoughts on the Bellingham Real Madrid announcements, Ben?
I mean, honestly, if he doesn't want to come play for us and he wants to go there, then fine. Like, whatever. I think we'll be okay. I agree with Anthony. I think we're looking really good, and it seems like we're prepping for like a really awesome next season, and hopefully we can get top 4. But yeah, it's like I'm over it, man. Like, whatever. Like, if you don't want to come play here, you talk about, oh, this is your childhood club, whatever. Well, then, like, if you're not gonna come, then whatever. So it is what it is.
Anthony, I'm with you. 3 midfielders, and I think this entire team looks completely different with a fully fit Luis Diaz and this new Trent role, who's created more chances than anyone in the Premier League over the last 5 games. But once again, FSG tease us and let us down.
You know what? I feel like with Mbappe, we all sort of knew he weren't going to come. But with Bellingham, there was just that bit of hope, yeah. Like, because it is a huge thing, man. It's everywhere. Liverpool favourites for so many years. And all of a sudden, we haven't got enough money. The money we've been saving up for 4 years, we can't afford him. Like, it's ridiculous. But I'm still gutted now, obviously, because I reckon he would be in our midfield for the next, 10, 15 years, maybe. I don't know how old he is. But, yeah, he just would have been a solid option, man. And he's been performing at a world-class level for, since 18, 19 years old. So he would have been great for us. Real Madrid's midfield is scary now, by the way, for the next decade. But for us, yeah. At the same time, I'd rather spend 150 million across 3 midfielders than just spend our entire budget on Bellingham. So it makes sense from Klopp's perspective. So that's the only part where I'm not too good about the transfer, just because if we would have spent it all on Bellingham, then we still need other improvements in the squad. So yeah, if we get McAllister, Gravenberch is another one we're close to, Manuel Ugarte, and maybe 1 or 2 more, then I'll be happy.
Mason Mount. Well, that seems to be a noisy one, doesn't it, Mason Mount? Because Chelsea have got to sell, which again I wouldn't be offended by. I think he's another James Milner. Can put him anywhere and he'll do a job.
Not for 80 million though.
You know, no, God, no. He's not worth 80 million. He's worth about 40 max for me. Depends how hard ball we play with Chelsea. But that's 10 without loss for Liverpool, scoring 25, conceding 9, 5 clean sheets in the last 10. Seems we've put a run together at the back end of the season and we're starting to make progress towards maybe we can just knock Man United out of that top 4 and start to put some pressure on them. And how hilarious would that be if just on the final day of the Premier League, they drop into the Europa League and we take their Champions League spot. Oh, it's something to look forward to towards the end of the season. This has been LFC Transfer Room. Thank you very much to Ben and Anthony. If you are new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.